The Lights in the Deep. Episode 2. Bedtime Science. Settle in. Pull the blanket up to your chin. There is nothing left to do tonight but rest and wonder. Let the day grow quiet. Let your breathing slow. Tonight we are going somewhere very deep and very calm. Down and down into the dark water at the bottom of the sea. Don't worry, you don't have to swim. You don't have to hold your breath. Just imagine. Let yourself sink, slowly and softly, the way you sink into sleep. Picture the ocean at night. The surface is dark and gentle, rising and falling, like a chest that breathes. Above you, the stars. Below you, a whole world waiting in the quiet. And so we begin to drift downward. Near the top, the water is still soft with light. This is the sunlit layer where the sea is warm and blue and where almost everything you have ever seen of the ocean lives. The fish, the turtles, the slow waving green. Sunlight reaches down through the water here in long, pale, slanting beams, swaying gently as the surface moves far above. But sunlight cannot travel very far into the sea. As we sink past the first few hundred meters, the light begins to fade. The warm blue cools. The bright colors slip quietly away, one by one. First the reds, then the oranges, then the yellows, until everything around you is a deep, dim, endless blue. They call this the twilight zone. It is always dusk here, always evening. The sun, somewhere far above, is only a memory of a glow. And still we drift gently down. And then at last, the very last of the light lets go. Below about 1,000 meters, the sunlight simply ends. No glow, no dusk, no difference at all between your eyes open and your eyes closed. This is the midnight zone, the largest living space on the whole planet, and one of the darkest places there is. Most of it has never, in all of time, seen the sun. It would be easy to think that nothing could live down here, in the cold and the dark, and the great slow weight of all that water. But the deep is not empty, and it is not entirely dark, because the creatures here carry their own light. Watch. Out in the blackness, a tiny blue-green spark blinks softly on. Then another. Then a slow drifting ribbon of light, like a glowing thread unspooling in the dark. The blackness begins to fill with little lamps, soft and patient and floating in every direction, near and far. This is bioluminescence, living light. Light the animals make all by themselves, inside their own bodies. And down here in the deep, it is everywhere. Most of the creatures you might meet can make their own gentle glow. The deep sea, it turns out, is not a dark and lonely place after all. It is a slow, silent night sky turned upside down, a sky made of living stars. And here is the gentlest part of all. This light is cool to the touch. When you think of light, you might think of heat, a candle flame, a hot, bright bulb. But the light of the deep is something different. The animals make it with a soft, quiet chemistry inside themselves, mixing two gentle ingredients together, the way you might stir two paints. And where the two of them meet, they glow. A calm, cold light with almost no warmth at all. A flame that cannot burn you. A little lantern lit softly from the inside. Notice, too, that nearly all of these lights are the same gentle color. A soft blue or a blue-green, like the very last light of evening. There is a quiet reason for that. Of all the colors there are, blue light reaches the furthest through deep water. So down here, where the darkness is oldest and deepest, the creatures learn to speak in blue. A whole world glowing in the one color the sea allows. A long, slow, blue-lit conversation carried on in the dark. Look closer now, and let me show you a few of the ones who live here. Some of the smallest fish wear rows of tiny lights along their bellies, like the windows of a faraway train passing in the night. They glow ever so softly downward, so that anything looking up from below sees only more darkness and lets them drift quietly past. They are not hiding in fear. They are simply wrapped in their own gentle light, going about the slow, patient business of the deep. Higher up, a jellyfish pulses by, round and clear and softly lit, trailing long, pale threads behind it. When something brushes against it, its whole body shivers with light, a quiet, spreading glow, like a ripple crossing a dark pond. It does not startle, and it does not rush. Nothing rushes here. It simply pulses and glows and drifts on into the dark. And some creatures, when a shadow draws a little too near, do something gentler still. They do not bite, and they do not flee. They simply breathe out a soft cloud of light, a quiet puff of glowing dust into the water. And while the shadow pauses, dazzled by the sudden, gentle brightness, they slip silently away into the dark. A small burst of light instead of a fight. Even here, in the deepest dark, there are soft and quiet ways to be safe. And there, far off, a single small light hangs in the water, swaying ever so gently, all on its own. It belongs to a little fish who carries a glowing lantern out in front of her, on a slender stalk, like someone walking down a dark hallway holding a candle. And the light is not even truly her own. It is made by tiny living things that live within the lantern, glowing for her, keeping her company through the endless dark. Down here, even the light is shared. Even in the deepest, quietest place on all the earth, nothing is ever truly alone. You might wonder why the deep should be filled with all this light. Some creatures glow to find one another, sending soft signals out across the dark. Here I am, here I am. Some glow to gently puzzle a passing shadow and slip safely away while it blinks. And some glow simply to light their own small patch of water, the way you might keep a small lamp on, just so the dark feels kind. 1,000 quiet reasons, all answered with the same soft, patient light. And all of it happens in perfect silence. No sound, no hurry. Only gentle lamps blinking softly on and off, all through the deep, all night long. Every night, whether anyone is there to watch them or not. And yet, sometimes, quietly, someone is. Far out on the dark ocean, on certain nights, a few patient people climb into a small round submarine, no bigger than a little room, and sink slowly down into the deep. And when they reach the great darkness, they do a wonderful thing. They switch off all of their lights, and they wait. And little by little, out of the black, the deep begins to answer. Sparks and ribbons and soft drifting glows blooming all around the window, closer and closer, until it feels as though they are floating in a quiet galaxy of their own. They never quite get used to it. No one ever does. And this living light is not only far below. Sometimes, on certain warm and quiet nights, it rises all the way up to the surface. The very smallest creatures of all, tiny specks of life, far too small to see, gather near the top of the sea in their countless, countless millions. And when the water stirs, when a wave curls over, or a hand trails slowly through the dark, they answer with a flash of blue. Whole shorelines have been known to glow at the water's edge, softly, quietly, magically, as each wave comes rolling in. A sea full of gentle light lapping at the sand. And here is a quiet secret to carry down with you as you drift. The sea is not as far away as it feels. Long, long ago, the very first living things on Earth began in the ocean, and in a way, they never quite left it behind. You carry a little of that ancient sea inside you, even now. It is in the salt of your tears. It is in the slow, warm tide of your blood. When you hold a shell to your ear and hear the ocean inside it, part of what you are hearing is simply you. So when you sink down into the deep tonight, you are not visiting a stranger. You are going home, back to the quiet place where everything began. Let yourself rest down here then for just a little longer. It is dark, yes, but it is a soft and gentle dark. A dark that holds you the way a blanket holds you. The water is calm. Its weight is like a great, slow hand, resting softly over everything, keeping it all wonderfully still. And all around you, in every direction, the little lights drift and blink and shine, patient and unhurried, asking nothing of you at all. You are safe here. There is nothing to find. There is nothing to fear. There is only the quiet and the slow, dark water and the gentle living stars of the deep glowing just for you. And now, let those lights begin to soften, one by one, the way the whole world softens as you fall asleep. Let the deep grow dim. Let the water cradle you. Let your thoughts drift down, slow and heavy and warm, and settle at last on the quiet floor of the sea, where everything is still and nothing more is asked of you tonight. Breathe in, slow and soft, and let it go. Breathe in the quiet, and let it go. The lights are still glowing far below. The sea is still breathing far above. And you are held, gently, somewhere safe and warm in between. There is nothing to finish, nothing to fix. The deep is calm. The little lights are shining. And you are exactly where you're meant to be. Rest now. Sleep well, and I'll be here again tomorrow night with another small piece of the universe.